What if I told you that Apple used to make a fully modular laptop that was upgradable, expandable, and featured a mechanical keyboard? Would you think I'm crazy? Quite possibly, but it's true. They did. And this is it. It's actually the first laptop that they ever made, if you could call it that. It's the Macintosh Portable from 1989, and one of the few things that it is portable. Now, you might remember from a couple videos back, I was recently in California where I bought a gigantic lot of 12 vintage Macintoshes. And while on that trip, I made an interesting remark. I love the Macintosh Portable. I've been wanting to get one of those. Now, it just so happens that when we took those 12 Macintoshes to Vintage Mac expert Hap, he has a ton of Macintosh Portables, and he actually gave me this one so that I could make a video on it. But there is one problem. It doesn't really work all the way. All right, so we've got it plugged in here, and interestingly enough, these machines don't have power buttons. You just kind of hit a key. Ah, yes. See, that does happen sometimes. Battery's not even in it. Let's unplug it. Yeah, so this thing has a range of problems. Sometimes it actually boots all the way. Sometimes it doesn't boot at all. So after doing some digging online, I think I found what the issue might be. The Macintosh Portable has this little sub-chip in the bottom left called the hybrid board, and this controls a lot of stuff with the power management and battery. And so when that goes bad, it could lead to the issues that I've been seeing. Fortunately, it's a pretty common problem on these machines, and there are recreations available. Now, obviously, I'd like to fix something like this myself, but I don't really know what I'm dealing with. I'm relatively new to vintage Apple stuff. So after doing a little bit of digging, I decided that the best move here was to find someone who could help me restore this machine and who actually knows what they're doing. And that's when I found Steve from Mac84. Steve is one of the foremost experts on vintage Macs. He knows these things inside and out, and he very kindly agreed to take a look at my Macintosh Portable. And that's also when I found today's video sponsor, Anchorwork, who has sent over their new Anchorwork M650 wireless microphone system. This is a super easy plug-and-play dual lav mic system, and I'm going to be using this for the rest of the video. So this thing is basically like the AirPods Pro of wireless microphones, except unlike AirPods, this charges via USB-C. Basically, you flip open the case, it turns on automatically, and we have our little connection module here with all of the input information. Then you just grab one of these microphones. It has a clip on the bottom, so you can clip it to a shirt like that, or you can pop this back off, which is magnetic, run that through the shirt, and pop it on like that. Plus, the microphones feature dual channel wireless pickup and voice shield noise reduction for clear, crisp vocals and three-dimensional lossless sound. It's just so easy to use, and the hub here can automatically detect that I've left the other lav mic in here, so it's just doing one. And this thing, which has a clip so you can clip it to your shirt, can also clip right into a shoe mount. And now your camera person can be monitoring your levels to make sure that they're not peaking. Plug it straight into the camera, and boom. I've now got wireless lav mic audio straight into my camera, recording right onto the SD card. It's literally the AirPods Pro of wireless mics. Wireless transmission is good for 656 feet, and the battery life is good for 6 hours on the mics and 15 hours with the charging case. So big thanks to Anchorwork, because they kind of made this whole video possible. So let's get on the road and go meet Steve, shall we? Look at that, we're all mic'd up. So Steve, I brought you theoretically a laptop, if you could call it that, but this one actually has a secret that I haven't told you about.
I'm scared now.
It's a good secret, I think. So this is not a retail Macintosh Portable.
Oh.
Because it has this sticker on the bottom. It says, attention, this device is a demonstration unit only. So I don't think it's a prototype, but it's something.
Yeah, it's probably just not a retail model, but that's really neat.
I can tell from the serial number, F9344, that it was made in the 34th week of 1989.
You've done your research.
Apart from that, this thing is pretty nice.
It looks beautiful.
It just needs a little bit of love. I think we can go ahead and start breaking it down. And one of my favorite things about the Macintosh Portable is you can actually fully disassemble this without a screwdriver at all.
Yeah, just be careful of that plastic.
All right, so this is how you take apart this gigantic Macintosh Portable. I'm actually kind of in love with it. It's very genius. But we have, the very simple one is these two buttons on the back here, and this pulls off the battery cover. We've got our big old hard drive in here, 40 megabytes, so lots of room on that one. Then you have the battery cover. Obviously, I've removed the battery already. We do need one tool, I guess, and that is this guy for popping off.
Be careful.
So you just kind of leverage that off there, and that's one side. So we pull off the keyboard cover, and that gives us access to these connections for the trackball and the keyboard. Nice little pull tabs, so those just come right off super duper easily. And then we just have these little clips in here. There's the trackball.
If you do it that easily with the keyboard, I'll be impressed.
The keyboard, I have gotten some progress on basically wedging up one side and then grab those three with the other finger, and there it goes.
Nice.
So the keyboard comes out, and this little mid-wall can actually move, so you can put it over here and have the keyboard on this side with the trackball over here. They're interchangeable. This is genius. All right, so with those out, now we can move on to the display. We've got little clips on either side here that hold it in. Or no, I think we take this off first, and then we do the clip. See, I'm remembering stuff.
Want me to hold the display while you do the other side? It's gonna come very floppy.
Label that, grab that, perfect. Pull that one out, disconnect it. Look at that, display out in 2 seconds. Oh yes, and we do have all of the signatures of the design team here on the bottom. This whole frame is plastic, by the way, which is a really arguably bad idea, but you know what?
Cut down on weight for a thing that was already heavy.
And there we go. All we need is this logic board, so we can set aside our gigantic bottom half there and just kind of go around to all these little clips. Logic board, look at that.
Little capacitors that are here, the yellow ones, those are obviously replacements. So
Okay.
This has been recapped, otherwise you'd see the little silver electrolytic cans. These are recapped as well because they look like they're in pretty good shape.
That's
But
good.
there is some corrosion here at the bottom by where the hybrid unit is. We'll make sure that isn't causing any trouble, but yeah, this is the unit that will have to be replaced. This is going to be real fun to desolder, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to, well, I'm not looking forward to you not looking forward to it. So shall we get under the microscope?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
It's going to make some noise, but that's what it do.
I'm not worried about the noise. These
All right, cool.
Anchorwork 650 microphones will do just a great job of isolating our voices.
So let's take a look at the corrosion there. So that is right on the analog board. That's all that crud there. We're gonna test that with a multimeter, make sure it's not making any connections it shouldn't. Yeah, so this is like a plane here, and this should be connecting to that. Yeah, so even though that's deteriorated there, it's still making a connection. It looks like
That's
crap,
good.
but it's still making a connection. There are some pins that are just bent, that are not pointed up, so we're gonna have to carefully point those up, otherwise we'll have some problems desoldering them. Yeah, because the desoldering gun I use is gonna basically wrap around these pins and heat them up, and if they're bent, it's not gonna do that easily.
That makes
And
sense.
the board we're putting on is going to replace these pins anyway, so.
We don't need them.
So what I like to do is get some fresh solder, and we're just gonna touch up some of these pins because it makes it a lot easier to take them out. It's gonna give us a bit of an easier time when we're gonna be sucking it off in a bit.
This stresses me out just to watch.
I'll be fine.
I would be sweating bullets at this point.
I like how you got the plastic chair, not the padded chair that was right next to it.
You did.
It's too late now.
You're a man that likes discomfort. I understand.
I want to feel your pain.
So what this does is it has a soldering iron at the end. It'll heat up the tip of the pin there, and then it'll just suck all the solder off of it. You're going to hear that noise a lot. You can see that the pins on the right, the first 3 there, have most of the solder sucked out. So we're going to have to go back and make some changes, but it's making some progress.
This sound is weirdly mesmerizing.
I call it the Claris because it's like the dog cow.
It does kind of
making a moof. So what we're going to be doing is alleviating some of the solder from these pins because how these pins are sort of hooked over. We could just sort of desolder them and flip them up. That might help alleviate some of the struggle that we were having.
Oh, I see.
There we go.
Wow, that's really satisfying.
Yeah, once this board is out of the way, it'll be easier to get these pins out of the holes because it's kind of being stubborn. Yeah, so there was some minor corrosion on this little chip here, on this hybrid board. You can see some of the green there. That's just a telltale sign that it was either moisture or however this was stored was not in a good state. So removing this and replacing it with that replacement unit should hopefully help us out a great deal. Yeah, so there's more desoldering, it looks like, because these pins are going like to the board and then they wrap around to the top.
Oh no.
Oh, that's fine. That's just more work. Yeah, just look how brittle this little board is. Just fractured as we're trying to remove it here.
Well, we're getting somewhere.
Yep.
It's lifted off at least halfway.
Halfway through. Now we get to deal with the same, but with all this complication here.
You're a saint.
Well, here's your souvenir.
Oh boy. I think this is ceramic.
Probably.
No.
Don't eat it.
No. Oh gosh, look at it.
It's halfway there. Now, this is ceramic, so this is not a normal PCB, which is why it's absorbing a lot of heat, which is great, but not great for desoldering. So,
great for its function, not for its removal.
You got it. Yeah, see, I'd use a heat gun here, but there's so much plastic right next to it that would probably melt everything.
Yeah, that's very true.
So we have to do the slow and tedious way. We'll just do a couple passes of this until it gives up.
You know, I will say, it's pretty loud here. We got the fume extractor on and the soldering gun. And honestly, these mics are doing a really good job of isolating the vocals. I put everything in the laptop just to make sure that everything sounds good, and I'm very, very impressed. And that's thanks to Voice Shield Noise Reduction, which intelligently eliminates background noises by identifying and isolating the human voice. It's really effective here in this noisy indoor environment, but it also works great outdoors, and whether you're connecting it to a DSLR like I am, or whether you want to use the included Lightning and USB-C adapters to connect to a smartphone, these things offer compact, great sounding dual channel audio wherever you are. Anyway, what were we saying?
This is just like right on the ground plane, so it's just sucking up all the heat I'm putting into it.
Oh.
Which is great, but...
Yeah, I can see every time you touch it, I can see the temperature dropping.
Yep.
Right under 420.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, that crack that started completed itself, but that's okay.
Oh no.
Ceramic. I swear this is not reflective of my skill set.
Oh no, it's very much reflective of they put a ceramic PCB on a laptop. It's finally free.
Yep. Oh, sorry.
In a number of pieces, but look at that.
Yeah, so that was hiding under there. And everything looks fine underneath. So once we get all these pins out, we'll be able to put the new board back in. We'll be good to go, hopefully. Well, here's your prize.
Oh boy. I actually like this one. It's a rhombus. Look at that.
Just glue it together, make it a necklace, put it in lucite. Etsy.
No. No.
You know how many chemicals we're touching that? Because of the solder.
Did you smell this? It smells like a pastry.
Yeah.
No, that smells like the flux.
No, it smells like pastry.
No, that's the
juice.
flux smell.
That's good.
So our next task is to clear out all those little vias.
I see, yeah. Because there's just like a little bit of a pin or solder or something that's just in the hole.
So after much toiling, all of those little vias are clear, so we can put in the header to put in the new hybrid board. Hopefully that will go in easily.
This has been a long process. Hopefully it won't be too much longer.
This is called solder mask, and what it does is it replaces any of the green that is worn away on the board. So for example, this area here where you can see some of the copper coming through, or behind this capacitor, it might be a little hard to see, there is some copper exposed. And this copper will turn black and it will oxidize and corrode things. So you do want to scrape away any of the old stuff and put some of this new solder mask on that to protect it and keep anything like moisture out of there so it doesn't cause any problems in the future. And it's like this goopy stuff.
That's so interesting.
Put a very thin coating on, that's all we need. And we're just going to shine that on there for about a minute or so. It's going to cure. And that should seal in anything, so we don't have to worry about any corrosive goo getting in there in the future. Okay, so the replacement hybrid board will go here. We have these little headers and sockets, so we're gonna install these in those holes that we made, if I can do that correctly. Those should just fit in there. And we'll solder those to the bottom of the board, and then we'll solder the replacement hybrid board that fits right on top. Of course, it's loose, nothing's making a connection now, but once we solder all those points, we should be good to go. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just put this over here and we'll just solder the hell out of this. So I'm just putting some flux here, which is solder's best friend, even if your solder has flux in it already.
Oh, it's so satisfying to watch.
Yep, I should put this fume extractor on.
That's probably a good idea, yes. I can smell it. Gosh, it's a lot easier going on than coming off, isn't it?
You're damn right. Yep, everything looks good.
Wow, first try.
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch up one or two of these things. I'm not gonna say I did perfectly, but.
All right, well, A+.
All right, cool. So thankfully, this is telling us the buttons face this way. So we have the board on correctly.
Nice printed on the PCB alignment.
All right, so now we're just doing the same thing and connecting all these pins to the socket here. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of pressure down to make sure that it's all even. All right, so there you have it.
Wow, that does look really almost OEM.
It's less janky than Apple's original part.
Honestly, yeah, I mean, look at this thing. I think we're gonna have great success.
Yeah, I'm hopeful too. We only found a little bit of weird things on this board. We were able to fix them up, nothing major. So.
No broken traces or anything, so
yeah,
that's a good sign. All right, so now we'll take our carefully reassembled board and just stick it back in our no screw required case. And let me tell you, assembly is a lot easier than disassembly. And then we just basically drop it into place. Connect up all of our different drives and our power connections there. Trackball and keyboard cables, those just pop right into the board. And now the keyboard. Oh my gosh, it's so satisfying. And then we grab our display, insert the display onto the hinge like so, clip, and this hinge cover, which makes it look nice. So before we put the rest of the top case on, I think this is probably a good point to do a little test power on, shall we? No power button, we just hit a key. Okay, it chimed.
hard drive is spinning up.
Hard drive is spinning. There's a happy Macintosh. Wow, it's hard to see. That's a desktop. Trackball works pretty darn well. It even is showing the state of charge. We're a little under halfway. Oh my gosh, Steve, you did it.
Woohoo!
That's
Nice.
amazing. Oh, and apparently now it's full. I think it's not quite used to this situation of it working,
Has
but
to calibrate itself.
it's a working Macintosh Portable. That's amazing.
It was no easy task, but it was well worth it to see this thing work again. Listen to that hard drive hum.
It really does hum. This hard drive seems to be pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not making any weird sounds.
How much memory you have in this guy?
Oh yeah, let's check. I don't know anything about this. About the Finder. I think this is System 6, yep. 1 megabyte of RAM. That's all you need. Oh, should we put a floppy drive in? Got some games on here. Oh, showed up right away. Wow, look at that. We got vintage gaming. on the Macintosh Portable. This is the first ever gaming laptop. That is a fully functioning Macintosh Portable. I'm so over the moon excited about that. I have always wanted one of these things. And it just, every single thing works. The speaker works. It's running on battery power, the floppy drive, the hard drive, the trackball. The keyboard is mechanical. It feels incredible. Wow. Thank you so much, Steve.
You got it. Happy to help.
Okay, so I'm now back at the studio, and I have to say this might be one of my favorite videos I've ever filmed. I have always been fascinated with the Macintosh Portable, and I now finally have one that completely works. Every single thing on it works. I'm running on battery power right now. Look, it's not plugged in, but it is on. You're gonna have to trust me on that because you probably can't even see it, but the sound works. All these different little sound effects. I love that. So the speaker works, the floppy drive works, the battery works, the PRAM works, the hard drive, an old 40 megabyte SCSI drive that still works in 2023. It's amazing. Every single thing on this is absolutely flawless. And it's all thanks to Steve and Hap. Those two made my dreams come true. So I have to give a huge, huge shout out to both of them. Now, hopefully I will be able to figure out a way to actually film this extremely hard to see non-backlight display here in the studio eventually, because I would like to make a retrospective piece where we talk in depth about the features and functionality of the Macintosh Portable. So definitely make sure to get subscribed and stay tuned for that. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to Anchorwork for sponsoring these lav mics, which I'm still wearing, by the way. Were an absolute savior. It meant I didn't have to worry about audio at all for this entire video. So check them out with the link in the description down below. And of course, a big thanks to all of you for watching. With that, I will see you all in the next video.